Hello friends and welcome to Figure Study, where we are appreciating some form of alliteration that ties into artistic critique that works with pop vinyls, but my brain isn't functioning so well with the rhyming today, and this was sort of an impromptu video. So, sorry, nothing clever to say about this. But yes, today we are taking a look at the pop vinyl 177. They've made a lot of these. My goodness. Pop Vinyl 177, D.Va with MEKA. Why are we taking a look at this? Because it's my channel, I can do what I want. Also because this particular pop vinyl was just made available recently, and on a trip to the store, I was trading in some games, and they had her behind the shelf, and I was like, I want to get that. And now I'm doing a video. So, quick background in terms of myself and Overwatch. I played a little bit when it first came out and then stopped promptly because I'm the kind of person who generally doesn't really prefer playing competitively online. I prefer cooperative if I'm going to play online at all. And I really hate playing random games with strangers. So it's the kind of game where I would only play if I could play with friends, and so many of my friends weren't playing or weren't playing when I was playing, and so I had Overwatch for about a month and then just traded it in. I did think it was good. I'm not saying I think Overwatch was a bad game. It was a very cool game. I just wasn't the kind of game for me. That said, D.Va was one of my mains because I really enjoyed D.Va. Just something about the giant mech suit that could also be used as a weapon in itself, like as her ultimate, she could launch it out and it would explode. So yeah, really enjoyed playing as D.Va. Also enjoyed playing as Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt pop vinyl did come out on the same day, but it was between her and Reinhardt, and I had to go with D.Va. So anyway, here we are, the D.Va and MEKA pop vinyl. And this thing is neat. I mean, it's a pop vinyl, so it doesn't really do anything, but it's neat. It looks good. It's like, I like how they were able to capture the design of MEKA quite well. There's a lot of little and not so little details that have been applied, painted, molded, all that good stuff. And of course, she's covered in sponsorship decals, because as I recall of her backstory, she is basically an esports champion and has gone on to defend the planet from hordes of killer sentient machines. So of course she's covered in sponsorships, I guess. I don't know. I never really paid too much attention to the Overwatch backstory. Anyway, I do really like this. This is very cool. The pink with just the slightly darker pink for certain details is a nice kind of, not really contrast, but it's a nice way to bring certain details out. And then you also have some white in a few key places, some gunmetal in a few key places, some lighter gray. And they've also used this lightish green to sort of imply lights. And just a little bit of yellow on the back for these boosters. And there are some very nice details on here. Unfortunately, I am noticing there are some problems with the paint applications here. Like there's some scuffing back here, and just looking at it under the light here, and I feel like maybe it's just the reflection. Yeah, I think it's just the reflection from this. I thought there was a little bit of problem with the bicep there. Yeah, there's a couple of minor problems with the paint here and there. But at the same time, this isn't exactly a super expensive figure. It's I think $25. And I actually, since I traded stuff in, it only cost me about $15. Kind of sloppy with the paint application on the edge of that booster, though. But yeah. I mean, I do still think that MEKA looks good. I think everything that needed to be painted was painted adequately. It's a little sloppy in the line work in places, but it's fine. For what it is, I think it works just fine. And as I said, I always liked the MEKA design, how it was just like this kind of big bubble with with machine gun arms, and it's got chicken legs. I do like the coloring. And of course, we also have the cockpit area, which is just see through enough that you can see D.Va in there, but it could probably stand to be a little lighter so you could see her a little bit easier. But then we can also flip up the cockpit area, and there we can see a little bit more detail in the arms there, and there's some more overtly sloppy paintwork, which, I mean, when it's down, you don't really notice. And D.Va can actually come out of the cockpit. There's nothing really going on in the cockpit. There's like the bare bonesiest of controls there. You can see there's like two little pegs that her feet peg into, and that's what keeps her stationed. That's what keeps her standing upright. And she's got two little peg holes on the bottoms of her feet. And the tiny little D.Va is very cute. Like, this, I think, is, in a weird way, even though she's obviously not the primary focus, I feel like this is almost where most of the attention went, because there are a lot of little details here that have been, like, I mean, these are, like, these details in her jumpsuit and stuff, those are tiny details. Like, even the rabbit logo on her chest there, like, yeah, given how much they probably had to focus on getting the details right on her extremely tiny self, it doesn't really bother me too much what ended up getting kind of slightly waylaid on MEKA there. I mean, she doesn't pose. She's just, you know, there to sit in the suit. The one thing that kind of sucks with this is you may notice she's got a little bit of a back lean, and since her head is so massive, that means if you try to put her down, she will not stand on her own. If you want to have her standing, you basically have to lean her up against MEKA there, which is a little bit of a shame, but I mean, she's going to be in the suit for the entire time I have her displayed. And just as a quick kind of size comparison, so you can see how this all compares to other stuff, and you can also see how tiny she actually is. Here is a more normal-sized pop vinyl. Yes, that is the best Doctor, the 10th Doctor. And for those who are either unfamiliar with Doctor Who or don't care, the 10th Doctor is played by David Tennant, who is he's just lovely. And so, as comparison, there we have our Samus amiibo, and so, yeah. Let's, pardon me, Doctor. So if you see, get D.Va and Samus next to each other, D.Va is quite tiny. But again, I mean, just there's a lot of little detail to her that just, like, again, like really tiny detail that they managed to get on here that's quite impressive. And at the same time, it's kind of a shame because it's primarily obscured by the cockpit, but I think they did good. One thing that I think is interesting is I thought it would be difficult to line up the pegs to get her situated in the cockpit, but her feet actually kind of guide in very easily, so it's actually not hard at all to get her pegged in. Let me just close that up, and there she goes. So yeah, the D.Va and MEKA pop vinyl. It is probably the biggest one I've got. I also have the Resident Evil Hunter, which is about the same height, but this one is like just thicker and definitely heavier. Like it's one of those things that you're not really gonna get in the video, but like it feels like all of this, like this entire part, it's just like ignoring the front of the cockpit here. It feels like all of this part of the mech suit is just solid vinyl. It's, you know, this is a pretty weighty pop vinyl. Definitely the heaviest one I have. Unfortunately, because of the wingtips and the fact that, you know, there's so much sticking out there, it's a little bit difficult to get her to fit on the tiny shelves where I have most of my pop vinyls displayed. But I managed to make it work. I'm noticing, though, yet another small issue with mine. This arm is kind of up and in. It should be probably pointed out a little bit more. And that is also a shame. And it's one of those things where I can't entirely be sure if it was a production error or if it just was because of the way it was packaged or was in the box for too long a certain way. Who knows? It's not a big enough deal for me to want to raise any kind of stink about getting it replaced. It's just a little bit like, I just noticed that and it's annoying. But yeah, if you're into pop vinyls, and especially if you're into pop vinyls and enjoy Overwatch, I would recommend this. It's a very neat piece. It's, you know, I mean, it's a pop vinyl, so you pretty much know what to expect. Like, the paint is a little bit off in places, but the overall like coloring and detailing and stuff is very nice. It's just a little bit messy if you look close. I do really like that D.Va herself is a separate piece that can be displayed in or out of the mech. That's a nice touch. And of course, if they start doing some of these for D.Va's alternate skins, then I may have to buy more. I really like I've seen pictures of the police skin that she has. I really like that one. Also, I think there's like a steampunk one that I thought looked really cool. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about this. And this is cool for what it is. Again, it doesn't do anything other than you can just take D.Va in and out, like take D.Va out and put her back in. Like there's no posability, there's no transformation, there's nothing. But as long as you know what you're getting into, I think this is a cool little desk decoration. If you're into it, again, I know not everybody is into pop vinyls, but I think this is pretty neat. And I also like the fact that just MEKA's design on its own is kind of semi-weirdly proportioned, so like the weird pop vinyl proportions don't really do anything to the MEKA design that I can tell. Like there's nothing overtly off about it, as opposed to D.Va's got like, you know, the giant pop vinyl head. So yeah, very cool piece overall. Anyway, I have been rambling, so that is going to do it. Thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye, and if you don't like it, you can nerf this.